Kind of blacklisted. I haven't gotten a studio job in 15 years.
So you feel in a way that you are banned from the...
No, not in a way.
You are?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Shut the video camera off. I will keep it on until we rehearse.
Oh, damn!
Val Kilmer didn't just quietly leave Hollywood, he vanished at the peak of his fame. One moment he was starring in big movies, and the next, he was gone without any goodbye or explanation. Now, Mel Gibson is finally speaking out and revealing the real reason behind Val's sudden disappearance. It turns out Val refused to play along with Hollywood's rules, and that decision may have cost him everything.
Do you think that people found it difficult to work with you because of that?
What's the one past difficult? Impossible?
Impossible.
Yeah, I'm kind of blacklisted. I haven't gotten a studio job in 15 years.
Let's rewind to the 80s and early 90s. Val Kilmer wasn't just in movies, he was the movie. He was a Juilliard-trained actor, the youngest ever accepted, and full of raw, electric talent. He had that confident charm producers loved, but unlike many others, he could actually deliver. He starred in hits like Top Secret, Top Gun, The Doors, and Tombstone. When he played Jim Morrison, fans seriously thought he was Morrison. Then in 1995, he became Batman in Batman Forever, officially making it into Hollywood's top tier.
So you feel in a way that you are banned from the...
No, not in a way.
You are?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Are your goal to get back or...
Yeah, I'd love to. I've always watched movies and wondered what I'd be like in that part.
But just as fast as Val Kilmer rose to the top, he disappeared. When it was time to film Batman and Robin, Kilmer was gone, no goodbye, no drama, just silence. Then out of nowhere, George Clooney showed up wearing the cape. Director Joel Schumacher didn't keep quiet either. When he finally spoke to The Independent, he didn't hold back. It wasn't a small dig, it was a full-blown verbal takedown. That interview wasn't about creative differences, it was more like, let me tell you what really happened. Joel didn't just throw shade, he set the whole place on fire. He even straight up called Val psychotic.
I had ideas, insecurities, obviously, about myself that I projected onto the movie business. Just the sounds coming out of my mouth, it was just absurdly unrealistic. So apparently, I have an evil twin.
In that unfiltered rant, Joel Schumacher said he was done defending spoiled, overpaid actors and even admitted he prayed he'd never have to work with Val again. The harshest part? He ended by saying, he was badly behaved, he was rude and inappropriate. Then he added, we didn't talk for 2 weeks, but it was bliss. Bliss. Cold. But let's be real, since when does being difficult get you kicked out of Hollywood? Come on, this industry thrives on drama, diva moments, and huge egos. Tons of A-list stars have flipped out on set, destroyed trailers, cussed out crews, and still walked away with award nominations and million-dollar deals.
I was a dumb actor, but I did complain quite a bit when I was younger. I didn't appreciate the business that afforded me the lifestyle that I very quickly enjoyed. Very quickly. I starred in my first movie. I was the lead in the first play I did professionally. And now that I don't have that privilege, I wish that I loved more. I want to be a better person. I try to figure that out every day and of being more...
So what really happened to Val? Was he acting out or just not playing the Hollywood game? That's when the rumors started, Blacklisted. And this time, Val didn't deny it. In one brutally honest interview, he admitted it had nothing to do with his behavior. The truth? He refused to follow the rules. Hollywood wanted silence, loyalty, and obedience. But Val? He thought it was about the art. He truly believed talent alone was enough. Then, around 1998 to 1999, things got weird. Kilmer vanished from big roles, and he wasn't the only one. Mel Gibson, Wesley Snipes, Brendan Fraser, they all started fading out fast. And strangely, it all happened around the same time.
you get back, will you behave in another way, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the way that gets me hired again. I was very outspoken about very specific things about the art. But it's a business. And I acted like it wasn't.
Mel Gibson used to be a box office king, but then, out of nowhere, he couldn't get a role unless he paid for the entire movie himself. Wesley Snipes? Thrown in jail over tax issues, his accountant supposedly messed up. Brendan Fraser? He disappeared after speaking up about being mistreated. You see the pattern, right? The internet definitely does. This isn't just a string of bad luck, it's starting to look like something bigger. And Mel? He accidentally said the quiet part out loud back in 1998. He described Hollywood like one of those creepy, silent saloons from an old western. Walk in, and everyone goes quiet and stares. Gave him chills. At first, he thought he was just being paranoid. But over time, he realized he wasn't. After The Passion of the Christ, major studios turned their backs on him. Total silence. He had to fund his own projects just to stay in the game.
I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on, because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And and I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it.
Then 1999 hits, and things start getting really weird. Stanley Kubrick drops Eyes Wide Shut, a movie packed with secret societies, masks, and elite rituals. It didn't just feel like a psychological thriller, it felt like a warning. But here's the wild part, Kubrick died before the movie was even officially finished. He never got to approve the final cut. And word is, about 25 minutes of footage mysteriously disappeared from the final version. Guess who else faded out in '99? Val Kilmer. Just like that, gone from the A-list. And speaking of masks, let's talk Batman. Kilmer's version of Batman felt cold, distant, empty. Like someone who had seen too much and couldn't take the mask off anymore. But here's what most people don't know: Val wasn't just acting in films. He was documenting his life. Every chapter. From childhood memories to private moments on set, he filmed everything. It's almost like he knew, one day, he'd need the receipts.
A whole place can't be like, Weird Town, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill. And it's like that. And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like, could it? And then you find...
When Val Kilmer's 2021 documentary Val dropped, it wasn't just emotional, it was eerie. The footage felt like more than just old memories. It felt like a man trying to leave behind proof, like he was archiving his own disappearance. Then came the dark twist, the island. Yeah, that island. The flights. The sealed names. The silence. And the timing. If you look closely, Kilmer's sudden fall from Hollywood lines up almost too perfectly with the early whispers surrounding Epstein's circle. Did Kilmer get invited and refuse? Did he say something he shouldn't have? We don't know. But one thing's clear, way too many careers fell off during that time for it to be just a coincidence. Now fast forward to 2015. That's when the script for Sound of Freedom was written, a film about child trafficking, based on the real-life missions of former Homeland Security agent Tim Ballard. Filming finished in 2018. It was a powerful story tackling a huge issue. You'd think it would get a major release, right? Not even close. The film was treated like it was radioactive. Passed around. Ignored. Avoided. No studio wanted to touch it. It sat on a shelf for 5 years. Why? Well,
I have thousands of hours of videotapes and film reels that I've shot throughout my life and career.
Shut the video camera off. I will keep it on until we rehearse.
Oh, damn.
Things started getting shady real fast. Sound of Freedom was originally supposed to be released by 20th Century Fox. But then, plot twist, Disney swoops in and buys Fox in 2019. As part of that deal, Disney quietly inherited the film. And what did they do with it? They locked it away. Straight up vaulted it like it never existed. That's when people really started side-eyeing the situation. I mean, let's be real, why would Disney, of all studios, bury a movie about saving kids from trafficking? The silence was loud. Fans were already raising eyebrows, asking questions. Then Mel Gibson came in and turned the heat way up. Mel's been Hollywood's black sheep for years. He's been calling out the industry's dark energy since the 90s. At first, even he wasn't sure if he was just being paranoid, but the longer he stayed, the clearer it became, it wasn't all in his head. He once described Hollywood as a creepy small town where everybody knows the secret, but no one's brave enough to speak it out loud. And there's one thing he said that still gives people chills to this day.
There's a producer I know, successful producer, I will not mention names, but his whole opinion about women on film, from beginning to end, is very brief. He says, women on film, either naked or dead. Both is better. And it's like, whoa!
Mel once shared a chilling warning he got from a powerful producer early on. He knew right away that Hollywood was spiritually hollow. And Mel didn't stay quiet. Not by a long shot. He openly called out everything from the mistreatment of women to the exploitation of kids, and how certain predators are protected behind the scenes. Mel was done playing nice. So when Sound of Freedom finally got released independently and started making waves, Mel's support felt personal. And the numbers? Insane. On a $14 million budget, the film raked in nearly $100 million worldwide. But the mainstream media? They didn't just ignore it, they came for it. CNN, Rolling Stone, The Guardian. Instead of reviewing it like professionals, they labeled it conspiracy bait. No real critique. No facts. Just snarky comments, eye rolls, and lazy labeling. Meanwhile, Mel is still shut out from big studio projects. But he's not giving up. He's been pushing for Lethal Weapon 5, hyping it up like it's the best one yet. He says the script's locked, written, and ready to go. So what's the hold up? Even he doesn't know. But let's be real, it probably has nothing to do with the script. Studios aren't scared of a script. They're scared of a name. And Mel Gibson's name? Still risky.
Kim is dead. Hetty D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only two left are Puffy and Al almost died. Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-likes.
Why is Mel still locked out? That's the question he's been asking for years. But he hasn't been completely alone in this. A few bold names in the industry have actually stood by him. Robert Downey Jr., aka Mr. Comeback King, publicly vouched for Mel. More recently, Andrew Garfield backed him too. When promoting Hacksaw Ridge, which Mel directed, Garfield said everyone deserves second, third, even fourth chances. Real talk. But Hollywood isn't hearing it, at least not yet. Now, Mel's hinting at something bigger. He's suggesting that Val Kilmer always knew the price of fame, and Hollywood wasn't just about hard work, it was about your soul. Val wasn't about to sign that spiritual lease. According to Mel, Kilmer saw too much. He asked the wrong questions, refused to play the game, and said nope to the elite handshake. And just like that, opportunities vanished. Roles were gone. Scripts dried up. The media flipped the story on him. It wasn't just about stepping away from Hollywood, and it definitely wasn't just about getting sick. According to Mel, Val didn't vanish by choice, he was pushed out. Why? Because he refused to play by Hollywood's unspoken rules. That same shadowy system Mel has been calling out for decades allegedly turned its back on Kilmer for not falling in line. Now, people are starting to ask the real question: was this blacklisting about ego, or was it about exposure? By the time Val returned as Iceman in Top Gun: Maverick, it felt like a miracle. A true comeback moment. The whole world was waiting for it. But when you watch that scene today, it doesn't feel like a triumphant return, it feels like a goodbye. The voice you hear on screen wasn't fully his. It was stitched together using AI, old recordings, and tech magic, smoke and mirrors. Val wanted that scene so badly that the crew did whatever it took to make it happen. But behind the scenes, he was struggling. Every shoot day wore him down. Every single line was a mountain to climb. After the movie dropped, Val went silent. No interviews. No red carpets. No surprise appearances. Fans thought maybe he was just living low-key, enjoying peace. But the truth? He was slowly fading out. Those closest to him started noticing. Val stopped picking up calls. His voicemails piled up. Texts were left unread or never opened at all. Some friends hadn't seen him in months. Even family members were out of the loop. But no one pressed it. After all, this was Val Kilmer, the mysterious soul, the spiritual wanderer. Silence had always been part of his vibe. Then April 1st hit. When the news broke that he had passed, many people hoped it was some twisted April Fool's joke. But it wasn't. The autopsy report changed everything. Everyone knew he'd been battling throat cancer, but that wasn't listed as the cause. Instead, it was pneumonia. And here's where things get weird: pneumonia has quietly become Hollywood's go-to cause for unexpected deaths. Kim Porter. Andre Harold. Same script. A safe cause that doesn't raise too many questions. But Kilmer's report had layers. Lingering infections. Surgical wounds that never healed. Severe malnutrition. The coroner's notes didn't just describe illness, they painted a picture of possible neglect. Or maybe someone who'd completely withdrawn. Muscle wasting. Untreated infections. Old wounds still trying to heal. This wasn't just someone who passed suddenly. This was a slow, painful fade, the kind of physical state you'd expect from someone who had been silently slipping away for years.
I haven't answered for us. It's been a while.
Oh, you look great.
And here's the haunting part: the coroner said some of those infections could have been treated, but they weren't because Val wasn't asking for help. He was in pain, deep pain, and he kept it locked inside. The autopsy confirmed it. Val had high levels of prescription painkillers in his system. Not enough for an overdose, but enough to know he was living in constant pain, not just physical, but emotional, too. That kind of pain you stop talking about, stop trying to explain, because deep down, you know nobody really understands. In those final years, he turned inward, painting, journaling, holding tight to the love of his kids. But even with all that, he was isolating. And just days before he passed, he posted a haunting Batman tribute. Looking back now, it almost feels like a final message. Because Val Kilmer wasn't just a star, he was a rebel in a cape. A man who dared to say no in an industry built on secrets and silence. And if that got him blacklisted, it forces us to ask, who else stayed quiet just to survive? Maybe Kilmer's silence wasn't weakness. Maybe it was his only shield, a strategy, a last line of protection. The real story isn't just how he died, it's why he disappeared. If this hit you hard, you're not alone. So hit that like, smash subscribe, and don't forget to share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below. Did Val know too much? Was he trying to warn us? And trust me, our next video? It's about to get even messy, eh? Are you there?